Assalomu alaykum. Bugun sizlar bilan IELTSdan yaqindagina 9 ball olgan, asli yaponiyalik bo'lgan, lekin Toshkentda faoliyat yuritayotgan Miss Kaya Nagayo bilan suhbat quramiz. Suhbatimizning birinchi qismi o'zbek tilida bo'ladi va Miss Kaya o'zlarini taassurotlari bilan o'rtoqlashadilar. Assalomu alaykum Miss Kaya.
Assalomu alaykum.
Siz birinchi bo'lib shu bu yerga kelib qolishingiz tarixi haqida gapirib bersangiz.
Men 2 yil oldin Toshkentga, O'zbekistonga keldim va o'sha 2 yil Toshkentdagi maktabda ingliz tilidan IELTSdan dars beryapman va O'zbekiston menga juda yoqadi.
O'sha aytganlaridek, biz Toshkent shahridagi 173-maktabda birgalikda hamkor bo'lib faoliyat yuritib kelmoqdamiz. Miss Kaya nafaqat o'quvchilarga, balki maktabdagi o'qituvchilarga ham ancha, demak, bilimlari oshishiga ancha hissalarni qo'shdilar. Shaxsan o'zimga ham IELTS instruktor sifatida juda ham ko'p o'zim uchun kerakli narsalarni olganman. Miss Kaya, bu yerdagi faoliyatingiz haqida qanday fikrdasiz? Shu o'quvchilar bilan ishlash, umuman olganda bizning o'quvchilar umuman ta'lim tizimi haqidagi fikringiz haqida.
Men O'zbekistonga kelib, Toshkentda yashaydigan odamlar rus tilini ham bilishadi va o'zbek tilini albatta bilishadi va yana ba'zida tojik tilini ham bilishadi. O'zbekistonliklar juda ko'p tillarni bilishadi va bundan men juda hayratda qoldim. Juda yaxshi hayratda qoldim va shu sababli bolalar va o'quvchilar agar ular juda yaxshi o'qisa, juda tez ingliz tilini o'rganyapti. Agar yaxshi o'qisa va
aytmoqchisizki, ingliz tili O'zbekistonda o'rganish rivojlanib bormoqda.
Ha, juda tez.
Xo'p, o'sha aynan IELTS o'rganayotgan o'quvchilarni harakatlarini qanday baholaysiz?
Qanday hol? Albatta eng yaxshi o'quvchilar juda yaxshi o'qiydilar va yana IELTSdan tashqari SATdan topshiradi va juda aqli o'quvchilari bor. Lekin katta farq bor deb o'ylayman. Men juda yaxshi ingliz tilini yaxshi ko'radigan o'quvchilar va uncha yaxshi bilmaydigan katta farq bor. Bu faqat O'zbekistonda emas, albatta boshqa mamlakatlarda, boshqa davlatlar ham shunaqa holat bor. Masalan, Yaponiyada mening vatanimda ham shunaqa situatsiya bor va lekin eng yaxshi talabalar juda yaxshi ingliz tilini juda yaxshi biladi.
Rahmat. Bizga o'zingiz o'sha faoliyat yurgizib, ko'ngilli sifatida kelgan JICA tashkiloti haqida ham gapirib bersangiz.
Rahmat. Men hozir siz aytgandek, JICA bu Yaponiya hamkorlik tashkiloti, Японское агентство международного сотрудничества degani tashkilot va bu Yaponiya hukumatining qismi va JICA har xil mamlakatlarda ofislar bor va JICAda har xil proyektlar bor, infrastruktura bilan, ta'lim bilan, biznes bilan har xil sohada proyektlar bor, сотрудничество, hamkorlik bor va men O'zbekistondagi JICAning ta'lim yo'nalishiman va men oldinda Yaponiyada Peaceboat degani kemada tinchlik kemasida butun dunyoni 2 marta aylanganman, tarjimon bo'lib, yapon tili va ingliz tilining tarjimon bo'lib 2 marta aylanganman va shu paytda kemada yana ishlayotgan edi dugonam, kollegamda hamkasbim bor edi va o'sha kishi yana JICAda Sri Lankada ishlagan edi va o'sha kishidan JICA haqida men eshitdim va bundan o'shadan keyin JICA bilan O'rta Osiyoga bormoqchi bormoqchi
ekanligini
ekan, aytdim.
darhaqiqat hurmatli tomoshabinlar, Miss Kaya asli yaponiyalik bo'lsalar ham bolaligi Kanadada o'tgan va xuddi native speakerlardek ingliz tilida muloqot qiladi. Bizga aynan American Englishda juda ham bu narsa foyda bergan. Shaxsan o'zim bir necha yillik faoliyatimni mana IELTS dan dars berib borish mobaynida masalan o'zim uchun ma'lum bo'lgan kamchiliklarni tuzatishimga ancha hissalari qo'shilgan. Bir-birimizga metodika ulashdik, bilim ulashdik. Mana 2 yil davomida yaqinda yilning oxiriga borib shartnomalari tugaydi. Miss Kaya, siz yana xohlagan bo'larmidingiz Jaykada aynan Toshkentga shu kelib faoliyat yurgizishni?
Ha, men bu haqida hozir o'ylayapman va Jaykada, Tokiodagi Jayka asosiy ofisida O'rta Osiyoning отдел bor va u yerda ishlagandan keyin yana O'rta Osiyo, O'zbekistonga, Kirgizistonga kelmoqchiman va yana kelajakda yana не знаю, может быть hukumatda ta'lim отдел yoki maslahatchi sifatida yana kelmoqchiman albatta O'zbekistonga.
Demak, siz hozir qilayotgan ishingizdan juda ham mamnunsiz, xursandsiz. Bu sizni qoniqtiryapti. Suhbatimizni ingliz tilida let's continue our conversation in English, please. Well, Miss Kaya took an IELTS exam in August, and as I said above, she got band score 9, and she has got a lot of things to share with us who are IELTS candidates and IELTS instructors as well. Miss Kaya, what kind of advice could you give to the IELTS candidates who are about to take the exam?
Well, I think your study method would depend on your level of English, yes, and what kind of score you are aiming at. But I think the best advice would be to approach English learning as play, as something fun, not like study, and to make it interesting for yourself. So watch interesting YouTube videos in English, listen to interesting podcasts in English, listen to TED Talks in English, just watch movies in English. First, make the process fun for yourself, first. And then after that, you can start thinking about the study methods.
Was it your first try in taking IELTS or the
Actually, it was my second time. Actually, I took IELTS for the first time 5 years ago in Japan, and at that time I got 8.5, and so 5 years later I was able to get 9. So I'm very happy about that.
What differences can you mention between your first and second try?
Well, to be honest, when I took IELTS for the first time 5 years ago, I didn't know what IELTS was. I didn't even know the test format. So I just went into the exam center and I just took it without studying, without preparing for it. So this time now I'm an experienced IELTS instructor. This time I knew the format, I knew the types of questions, and so I was more prepared, I should say. I would say.
And for you, which aspect is the most difficult?
In IELTS.
In IELTS.
For me, writing is the most difficult because I think IELTS demands a very high level of writing from the candidates. Like,
and it takes a lot of time
to write, to write and to prepare. And even if all your grammar is correct, even if your structure is correct, it's very hard to get a 0.9, like a 9-point score, because the content has to be academically professional, like convincing. And so I think writing is the most difficult part of IELTS.
Even if you have any mistakes in your essays, the essay should be how to say should include necessary phrases
and arguments
and the difficult structures, sentence structures and arguments, as you said. Okay. And have you got any advice?
Any advice? Well, I think it depends on the section. But for example, if you are preparing for the reading section, you could try reading a lot of articles, academic articles. For example, from the National Geographic or the Scientific American, on the internet. They're free, So you can read these very academic and very long, articles, and try to increase your vocabulary. And in the reading section, focus on the connecting phrases, yeah, the transition words, like in addition or however, because if you know these transition phrases, you will be able to predict what is coming next.
Yes.
So if you see however, you know that the opposite information is coming, and the ability to predict is the most important thing in writing. That will help you read faster and more accurately.
Okay.
Yeah. And so also for the speaking part, memorize a lot of phrases, yeah,
Yes.
transition phrases. However, moreover, in my opinion, from my point of view, and also at the beginning, you could say an introductory phrase. For example, well, that's an interesting question. I've never thought about it, but in my opinion, like these phrases that you can use while you are thinking about what to say. Yeah? And for the listening and speaking parts, try to listen to a lot of podcasts and YouTube videos. For example, I recommend the podcast Big Brains. Yeah, Big Brains. It's a good podcast. Also, The Joy of Why. Yeah, it's also a nice podcast. Also, I recommend a podcast called what was it called? Why This Universe? Yeah.
Yes.
And I also have my own podcast, which is called English with Kaya. Yeah. So try to listen to different kinds of podcasts with academic content. And that will increase your vocabulary, that will boost your listening skills, and that will also increase your knowledge of phrases that you can use while you are speaking. Yeah. So input is very important. And also for the listening section, try to really focus on the key words. Yeah. And while you are checking the questions before the audio starts to play, look at the keywords and think of synonyms to the keywords, because probably the person in the audio will paraphrase.
The possible words, you mean?
The possible words, possible synonyms, because 90% of the time they will not repeat the same thing. They will say it using other words. Yeah.
Yes.
So read all the questions, think of the synonyms, and try to summarize them in your own words, yeah? And think about, what do I need to put in the blanks? Do I need to put in a number? Do I need to put in a noun, yeah? Do I need to put in a place name, yeah? Imagine what you need to put into that blank.
Yes.
And that also in the reading section, before you start to read, check all the questions, yeah? Read all the questions first, yeah? And then read the text, and then go back and answer the questions. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kaya. Hurmatli do'stlar, o'zingizga kerakli taassurotlarni oldingiz degan umiddamiz. Ms. Kaya bilan suhbatimiz maroqli o'tdi o'zimiz uchun. Agar siz uchun ham qiziqarli bo'lgan bo'lsa, biz yana umid qilamiz Ms. Kayani intervyularga taklif qilishga, siz bilan o'z taassurotlarini, fikrlarini bo'lishga. Biz umumiy, demak, baho beradigan bo'lsam, xulosa qilib aytadigan bo'lsam, 2 yillik birgalikda partner bo'lib ishlashimiz mobaynida biz ko'plab o'quvchilarni IELTS sertifikatini qo'lga kiritishiga hissamiz qo'shildi. Shu aynan o'zimizni maktabda o'qib, mana hozir bitiruvchi sinflarimizda anchagina IELTS sertifikatiga ega o'quvchilarimiz bor. Ular bundan juda ham minnatdor. Endi aynan shu maktabni o'zida o'qib, maktabimizni reytingini, shaxsan o'zimizni reytingimizni ko'tarishga ancha hissalari qo'shildi. Ms. Kaya, suhbat uchun rahmat. Keyingi suhbatlarda ham sizni kutib qolamiz. Salomat bo'ling.
Rahmat Savdo aka.
Salomat bo'ling. Xo'p.
Thanks for watching.